Hello and welcome in. I am MissKinghorn and we are back here in The Sims 4 with another speed build. And yes, you guessed it, we are back here in Henford-on-Bagley. I use this world a lot. I have to be fair, it's one of my favourite worlds, I've got to be honest. And yeah, here we are. So this is actually a build that I have done for a friend of mine. So remember a couple of weeks ago I did a farmhouse for one of my friends. Well, you know, I did it for one, so I kind of ended up having to do it for the other as well. And so they kind of said, let's do my childhood home. So that's kind of what we decided to do in here, which, yeah, is coming together right now. So this is again in the country. It's a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom family home, and this is actually her home as best as I could recreate it, I've got to be honest. There's a few things I think, as per trying to do real life builds into The Sims, aren't always the easiest, but I think we've done pretty well in here. So she said that this room actually up here on sort of the roof actually was a little room, and it was kind of made into like a little sort of den, kind of come like playroom for the children. It had like a little ladder in it, and they could kind of climb up there, and it's a little bit of space just for the 2 kids. I didn't do that in here. I didn't use that room at all for anything. I just left it as a bit of roof detail essentially into here. And I also changed out what would have been their sort of conservatory, kind of come greenhouse in here that was off the kitchen. It was like the dining room, but the lighting in there was really weird, so I've actually put in a sort of proper roof on that as well. But yeah, luckily enough, she actually had some photos of the house and like them in it, so I was kind of able to recreate it as best I could. I did try to go for this like painted brick in here, but it just didn't really work, so I then sort of stripped it back to the brickwork that we got. It's this base game sort of red one. It kind of goes with the stairs, and it just kind of works a little bit better for what I really wanted. And then the painted brick from Cottage Living, which I actually think is a lot better in here for that sort of white sort of trim detail and stuff like that. But yes, we kind of go brick everywhere, and then we change it all out again as per. But you know, me and being indecisive, what can I say, in here. But yes, so you can see here it is coming together pretty nicely. And then we do actually leave the roofs as the painted brick, because that's what they were. Now this little detail here on the roof, it was a bit of a weird one. Now I'm not entirely sure what they're for, but I kind of put a little chicken up on the roof, and then like these wooden sort of beams. They're not really a thing, because obviously the wood would just rot, and then you're just left with rotten wood on your roof. It doesn't really make much sense, but I thought we needed a little bit more detail up there. So although I have taken inspiration from my family home, I've kind of in places moved away. And you may also notice there are only a few packs in here. I've not done it as a limited pack, sort of like with just one or so, but I did go through the packs that she has, and I picked the best ones that I thought could really work for what I wanted. So obviously we have Cottage Living, we have Growing Together, Parenthood as the only game pack, and it's actually the only game pack she owns as well, so kind of had to use that one in here. And then Nifty Knitting, Crystal Creations, the Country Kitchen kit, and then the Everyday and Bathroom Clutter kits. So there was some pretty good packs though, I've got to be honest. As a builder, I was kind of, when I looked at the list of the packs that she had, I kind of went, oh, okay. But then you know what, we can do it. It kind of worked, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So yeah, it was a nice little challenge. It's not something I tend to do or particularly like doing. I mean, I have done in the past like one pack builds or like all expansions and things like that, and it just, I don't know, because sometimes I can struggle with them a little bit, but with this one the packs were really good for kind of coming up with a different sort of styles and different things in here that we really wanted. And then going back to the sort of plan, she said that she wanted a little sort of garden area for vegetables out here, so that's what we've done. We've placed a lot of, I think they're lettuces, and then we have some smaller plots which have like strawberries, raspberries, and things like that in as well, because that's what was growing in her garden. She can remember going out and picking them and eating all the strawberries and things like that as a kid, so she wanted those put in as well. And then obviously because we have them in game now, we can definitely get those in for her as well. And then a little bit of landscaping, mainly at the front. There's not too much sort of landscaping work done in here. It's all very sort of simple and a nice kind of big shrubs and bushes and plants and stuff everywhere, which I think it worked out really, really well. And it's a nice simple lot. And then we do actually grab out some plants that like live on the walls of your house and stuff like that, so we do kind of mix it up a little bit and just try and get some colour coming through here as well, because that's what we really wanted. So you can see here I'm trying to put them in. These clip, and you don't actually see it here, you see me placing these. I then do go through on the interior and just make sure that they're not clipping and that they're all okay. I think the only one that has been left kind of clipping is the one in the living room, and that's in that sort of bay window, and it's kind of hidden away a little bit, so we've kind of managed to hide it as best as I possibly could into there. But yes, alright, and using those sort of flower boxes, which I think they're actually in a nice sort of green kind of colour, like a soft green, just really adds to this build because it kind of softens the whole look up and makes it a little less sharp, because sometimes some of the walls, especially using brick, can be a little bit like, oh, they're a little bit sharp, a little bit sort of in your face, and kind of just a solid wall. So kind of breaking them up with, obviously we've got some of the roofs clipping through, we've got now the flower boxes, and also the white windows I think really work in here for how I wanted this all to look. And then coming around into the back garden here, I do actually get rid of this path here, this sort of diagonal piece, because we have a little swing set into here, and then just a little bit of terrain paint just underneath, just to make that look like it's a little bit muddy and well used into there. And then we also have a little barbecue area in here as well, sort of at the back here, so you can sort of see into that sort of greenhouse kind of conservatory on the side there, just the lighting and how bad it really was. So that's why I changed the roof out. I don't necessarily know why the lighting was so bad in there, but yeah, it was. So eventually it gets changed, voila, into a fixed roof in here. So this is kind of like the floor plan. You can see here we've got bedrooms and one bathroom upstairs, and then the one bathroom downstairs, and then kitchen, living, dining, and a little bit of a hallway kind of come sort of study area in there as well at the back of the property. But let's jump in and get started. Wallpaper was a big one, because obviously I had some idea from the photos of what the interior kind of looked like, but it was a little bit dated, and we did say that we could modernise it a little bit and update it here and there, which I have done where I can, but it is very much a sort of an old cottage in here. But I've done my best to trying to mix the two, sort of the old and the new together, but I think it comes out really, really nicely in here. So lots of clutter coming in. This is a home that was loved and had lots of fun memories and stuff like that in here as well. So lots of clutter and bits and pieces just kind of strewn around, especially because there was 2 kids living in this house, her and her little brother, which you'll see. Now, I have a slight disclaimer when it comes to the screenshots at the end. She didn't want me to make a sim self of her, so I've kind of just used a bit of a generic kind of family in here for the end. So they're not real creations of the family that were living here. They're just people that I've just kind of created just to fit into this home in here. But I love the fact that we've got the crystal creations, because that table, hallway table there, I love, and the same with this bookshelf. Now, I really wanted to go with the red theme, but the red doesn't really work everywhere, so I ended up having to change the bookshelf to this sort of brown kind of wood colour, which I think it looks okay. It would have probably been slightly better if it was in the red, but it just didn't, it clashed with the stairs and things like that, and the chair, so I thought we'll just end up placing a in the brown in here and just using a little bit more of that coming through as well. But this sofa, definitely, there is lots of sort of green, lots of red coming through in this build, which I love. Kind of a combo I really use together, but this wallpaper, I think it works well, I think. Obviously you can be the judge and let me know in the comments down below what you think to that. But that sort of nice dark sort of burgundy red really sort of pops against some of the other sort of furniture and bits and pieces into here. And then we wanted a big leather sofa. When I say this was stunning collaboration, it really was, because she was like, no, that's not right, that's not right. Yeah, that's probably as close as you're gonna get. So we went backwards and forwards on a few things whilst I was recording this, which luckily enough you're not seeing the cuts where I stop for 20 minutes to have a conversation about curtains or wallpaper or the layout and things like that. Now, I've not been in their home probably for 15 years, so I don't really remember it too well, but she definitely does. But it's not the home that they live in now. She's grown up, she left home, and yeah, I don't know what it looks like now. I haven't seen it, I haven't been inside to do any of that, so I have no modern sort of photos, only the really bad sort of photos from when they were children living here. Right, so there's a little bathroom. I know I don't tend to show you bathrooms, but you get 2 in this build, and I show you both of them. So this is a nice little downstairs one. Now, I kind of imagined that this would also be like the laundry room, sort of in those cupboards you would open it up and you would have like a washer dryer kind of combo in there. Now, we didn't have the pack for that, so I've just really placed the debug, well, I think it came from Parenthood, that sort of washing basket in there that we got beforehand. So it kind of looks like it's there, but not really there. If you kind of catch what I'm sort of saying, I did my best to kind of make it feel like it works in there, and then using lots of sort of different cabinets, because those colours do not really go together very well, but I think it actually works because we have that dark wood, we have also the light wood coming through, and the greens, and yeah, I think it works into here. Alright then, so we changed pretty much everything in here to try and make it fit into there. Now this is this back little space I said about that I wasn't really sure, is it a hallway, is it a study, is it like, what is it? In the end it's kind of everything, because you have the 3 archways here. One of those does actually get changed to a door because it's a little bit smaller, which means I can get a desk in. Now we used the one from Nifty Knitting. At this point we haven't really used too much from that pack, so I really wanted to kind of get that in, and then kind of just cluttering up the desk. And she can very remember learning to sort of knit as a child, and it was just something that they all sort of did, and so that's why I thought using the Nifty Knitting pack as a pack that they own was a really nice sort of combo, and it's not something I tend to use. I can't honestly remember the last time I built anything with Nifty Knitting, so it was quite nice to get find out the pieces and what items we had from that pack. Now, rocking chairs, love that little one in there as well, and then nice little rug just to finish this off. And then let's head into the kitchen. Now this is a bit of another weird kind of space in here. I didn't really know what to do. There was no pictures of the kitchen, so I kind of had to improvise, and I've just kind of run it all the way along sort of one side and along the front by the window. And then I have placed the fridge freezer on one side, and then there's also like a small little breakfast table off to one side in here as well, so that maybe if it's just like one sim having lunch or something, then you can sit in here rather than using the big sort of main table in the other room. Now I have cut all of the sort of pulling out of all the clutter because it was going to take forever. So you can sort of see in here, you've got all of the basics. You've got your microwave, you've got a coffee pot, you've got your sink, your cooker, and then lots of sort of just general kitchen clutter that I think really works in here for what we wanted. And then we kind of have this sort of large shelf on the side here. I do end up scaling it down, which means that I can't just place things as I really want them. We have to sort of move everything with the red shelf, which is a little bit of a pain, but it just was too big to fit on this wall. This should really be the size of the shelf. It didn't really need to be made so big, unfortunately. But anyway, it is what it is, and we get all of our sort of more clutter in here as well. I love that plant. Again, another item I don't tend to use, and I don't really know why, because it feels like it fits in here really well in sort of like that old watering can, which I absolutely love in here. And then we've kind of gone for a sort of pastel-y kind of colour in here, lots of greens, lots of sort of pinks and yellows and things like that coming through as well. And then we get out a small little table in there, and then I'm pretty sure when I came to clutter I pulled these out, but I lost them. And I don't know where the salt and pepper shaker actually went, so I ended up getting another one. So if you download this build, you may find the salt and pepper shaker floating somewhere, and it just meant that I couldn't see it. Anyway, let's go back into here. So this is the dining room in here. I wanted to change the windows because they just didn't look quite right, so I ended up having to swap some of those out and move them all around so that they fitted. And then dining room tables, again, it's another one of those weird ones because I just wasn't really sure what to put in here. Table wise, it just didn't, there was nothing that really popped to me. So in the end I used the set from Growing Together in here with sort of that red, the bright red kind of colours, and also for the chair. Now we used a white version for the study area, but we used the red ones in here. And then you can sort of see just how by putting the curtains in, how dark it made all of this, which I then had to go and put lighting in because obviously it was going to have a glass ceiling, so I didn't need to put a light in here at that point. Now I do, however, so I apologise for this being dark. I totally forgot about it when it came to here. But what I'm putting in is the cross stitch sort of pieces. I'm not quite sure which ones I actually picked in the end, but I had a large one and then two small hoops that I just placed on the side table in the sort of dining room because I felt like that was going to be a nice place to show off maybe some of their best sort of pieces or something like that into there. Alright, now we are coming upstairs to the main sort of bedrooms and this sort of hallway up here, which I ended up turning into like a bit of a games kind of space for the children. I felt like the rooms were quite small, so they have like a few pieces in their bedroom, but then there's also some that's just out here. So we get the sort of blocks table, and then we also get the toy box out here. We did use the kind of fake one that came with Parenthood downstairs in the living room, but this one actually is usable, and I don't recall placing one in any of the bedrooms. So this is like the only toy box in here for the 2 children, and then this is the main bedroom. This looks like it should really work, but it was a weird one because you have windows on 3 sides here. It was like I could block off a window by placing the bed against it, but it just didn't really work. So I ended up placing it here, and it was a little bit tight, but I felt like we could really get it in. And then a couple of bits of clutter up on the bedside tables and stuff like that as well. And then the dresser here. Now that has a mirror on it, but it's not really usable as a mirror for some weird reason. So although the dresser has a mirror, it doesn't work. So I ended up placing out another mirror, which I really wanted to use anyway. It was just kind of a case of trying to squish it in and find out where I can get it into there as well. And then kind of coming in with curtains, which you can see here I struggle with. So in the end I placed some closed ones behind the mirror because I felt like maybe if they were getting changed or something, they could use that corner and they're a little bit more out of the way and sort of a bit private space into there. So one thing I did know is that she had this sort of front bedroom in here, and it was pink. That I do remember from this room. It was very, very pink. So yes, I think everything had some pink in it. So definitely trying to get in as much of that in as we possibly can. And then yeah, we ended up getting the little doll's house in here as well, which I thought was a really nice kind of combo, because as I say, you've got some pieces outside, but some things are just for you. They're not like a toy you share, where I think like the blocks are something that you would share as like a family, because they're like an activity you could all do together, whereas I think the doll's house is something that you would just use for yourself rather than getting like your parents to play with or something. I don't know, let me know, what do you think into there. And then castles and sort of just general clutter and toys and things that could work as toys. So like we used the little basket which came with a base game update. I love this. I use it pretty much in every single build. It's like that one item that you just can use everywhere and it really fits. Yeah, I use it both downstairs in the living room and then in both bedrooms. So there's actually 3 of these in the house, but because they're all different colours, they're all different kind of locations, it actually really works in here as well. So pink spotty wall going on the back there, and now we're off to the younger brother, I guess, bedroom in here, which I kind of went for like a nice pale blue kind of furniture, and then I went for some dark blue kind of walls. I felt like that was something that we kind of really wanted in here, and a nice sort of different sort of shades of blue coming through into here, but you can kind of use this as however you want. So I've kind of, although it's blue, I don't think it's like, how to put it, it's not bright in your face, it's kind of a little bit more subtle in here, and a little bit more of a neutral kind of bedroom. But this was done for the baby brother, who is only, I think, about 2 years younger than her. So it's still a kid's bedroom because they were both kids. So that's kind of what I wanted to do in here. But obviously, one's slightly older than the other. They're not like twins living here in separate rooms. So yeah, that's what we did in here. A little bit of clutter, a little bit of stuff in here, but this room was really tiny actually, and it was kind of a challenge to kind of get things to fit in here. You sort of saw when I placed the wardrobe down that you couldn't then place the bed and a bedside table in, so I ended up having to move stuff around to try and make a little bit of space in here, and then some big sort of posters and stickers and stuff like that going all throughout this room in here as well. And then we are coming up to the last sort of bathroom up here as well. So we're coming up to the end of the video. So if you have enjoyed this, then please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below. You can also subscribe to me here. You all being so very, very much to me. And you can also follow me on pretty much all social medias. The links to that are in my link tree. So yeah, you can find me pretty much everywhere. Also on Twitch as well, where I stream twice a week. But for now, I think I will leave you with the screenshots. But until next time, bye everyone!